Hello children, we will start the civics first lesson, the Indian Constitution. First we will see why do we need a constitution. It reflects the ideal of the country. It defines the nature of a country's political system. It provides guidelines to govern decision making process. It safeguards the citizens against the misuse of power by leaders. So children, these are the points. From this it is clear that why we need a constitution. Now we will see the Indian Constitution key features. First we will see the federalism. Federalism means what? In India we have a government at the state level and at the center. Panchayati Raj is the third tier of the government and you have read about this in your class 6th. Now we will see what are the functions of this. First see the powers delegated to the national government. Declare war, create and maintain armed forces, establish foreign policy, regulate interstate and foreign trade, make copyright and patent laws, establish postal offices, coin money. Now see the powers reserved to states. Establish local government, establish and maintain school, regulate trade within states, conduct elections, provide for public safety. Now the middle one you see, these are the points. Raise taxes, provide for the public welfare, criminal justice, borrow money, charter bank, build roads. So all these are the points which are in the federalism. Now under federalism, the states are not merely agent of the federal government but draw their authority from the constitution as well. All persons in India are governed by laws and policies made by each of these level of government. So children, these are the points under the federalism. Now we will see the parliamentary form of the government. The different tiers of government that you just read about consist of representatives who are elected by people in class 7th with the story of Kanta. Now in the parliamentary form of the government, the Constitution of India guarantees universal adult suffrage for all citizens. This means that the people of India have a direct role in electing their representatives. Every citizen of the country, irrespective of his/her social background, can also contest in elections. These representatives are accountable to the people. Understood? So these are the parliamentary form of the government. And you know very well when we are celebrating Indian Constitution on 26th November. Now we will see the separation of power. In separation of power, according to the Constitution, there are 3 organs of the state. These are legislature, executive and judiciary. The legislature refers to our elected representatives. The executive is a small group of people who are responsible for implementing laws, and judiciary refers to the system of court in this country. Now we will see the fundamental rights. Fundamental rights you know very well. These are the fundamental rights. Which one? Right to equality, right to freedom, right against exploitation, right to freedom of religion, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. These are the 6 rights. Understood? Now the right to equality means all persons are equal before the law. This means that all persons shall be equally protected by the law of the country. Right to freedom means freedom of speech, expression, right to form association, right to move freely and reside in any part of the country. And right against exploitation means the Constitution prohibits human trafficking, forced labor and children working under 14 years of age. And right to freedom of religion means what? Religious freedom is provided to all citizens. Every person has a right to practice, profess and propagate the religion of their choice. Cultural and educational rights means you can preserve and develop own culture. And right to constitutional remedies means this allows the citizen to move in the court if they found their rights are violated. Now see the secularism in India. Secularism in India means a secular state is one in which the state does not officially promote any one religion as the state religion. Now this about the secularism you will study in the second lesson. It also states that what? One religious community does not dominate another. Some members do not dominate other members of the same religious community. That the state does not enforce any particular religion nor take away the religious freedom of individual. So all these are the point in the secularism, and in detail we are going to study in under secularism in the second lesson of the civics. Okay children, thank you.